So, final video, part 8 of an 8-part series. Basically, the last 7 videos have been about 5 minutes, maybe longer, explaining what I experienced in each location that I travelled to whilst I was travelling. It focuses more on the charity side of things than the gallivanting on the weekends and sightseeing. And it also sort of captures how much money was spent and what I did with your donations. So to sort of just summarize it all, the first video was about Kenya, second it was about Zambia, third Ghana, fourth Laos, fifth Cambodia, sixth Vietnam, and seventh Philippines. In total, and I really do thank all of you for being able to volunteer and support the cause. So we volunteer your money and support the cause. But in total, £933.48 was raised. This doesn't include all the GoFundMe charges. So this is like actual money that I got from all the fundraising was £933.48. In Ghana, £287.50 was spent to help build a new classroom, to buy food supplies for the families affected by this rain flood, and then also to just buy some supplies for the ladies in the therapy group. In Zambia, £68 was spent on the compulsory community support fees, and £53.96 was spent on buying bananas every day to feed the old people. In Ghana, £113.67 was spent. I actually forgot, in the previous video I mentioned that how I bought pencils, pens and books. But actually that was for one school. In a second school I also bought them a computer. So that was the computer screen, the keyboard, the mouse and the CPU unit. And that's where a lot of the money was actually spent for that £113.67. But there's a little video of that on YouTube. In Laos, £68 was spent on the compulsory project supplies fees. I didn't feel the need to give any more money because I was actually volunteering in Vientiane, which is actually quite a wealthy capital within Laos. And I almost felt like we were doing things for the school in an area where people were building mansions. So I didn't feel the need to basically give any more money than that £68 that was originally given. In Cambodia, £80.51 was spent. This was used to buy academic books for teaching English. You know, the translation from, I've forgotten what it's called. From the local language to English, and English to the local language. I also spent that money to buy shampoo and shower gel for the kids at the orphanage. And also we had a little movie party with popcorn and drinks. In Cambodia, so that was Cambodia. In Vietnam, £96.59 was spent. This was to pay for the attendance fee of one child for 3 months. This was 50% of the fees over those months. The government pays 1/3, and his mum has a smaller portion left to pay. And that was just because I saw the benefit that this special needs centre was having on these kids with cerebral palsy, autism, whatever condition they had. And I basically sort of wanted to support this one child who wasn't able to come because of the financial limitations. In the Philippines, £109.81 was spent. This money was spent to help Mum Nanita buy the supplies to build a roof for her home. It was spent on money to create a mini library system within Mum Nanita's house for the local kids. It was spent to buy, to give money, just some cash for Mum Nanita to buy clothing for her grandchildren. And that's how the money was spent. Of this, there's a balance of £55.44. I have a good friend of mine who lost her child, Baby Zahra, around December, and her daughter had been living in a hospice, in and out of the hospice. She'd basically been born premature and had many complications, and she was living in a hospice. And I'm trying to get on the internet now the name of the hospice, but I don't think I have the time to do that. One moment, pause. So yes, the name of the charity of the hospice that my friend's daughter stayed at was called, I just had it. It's called Chestnut Tree House. And they basically work with kids at the late stages of life who happen to be born with defects that means that they're not going to live for so long. So what I've basically done is with the balance of the fundraising money that was received, which is £55.44, I'm going to wire that over to the fundraising page that Shanley has, and help her with creating fundraising and awareness for the hospice. Because I think it's I remember when she had the baby and she contacted me, and I was able to meet Baby Zahra. And when I met her, it was basically said that on the Friday she was going to go to the hospice, and I remember seeing them in the hospice and visiting, and thankfully she didn't pass away when they said she was going to pass away. And she lived beyond that point. And I remember speaking to Shani, and she's saying, like, she's travelling into London with all these cables attached to her baby's pram, but it's fine, they're going to a wedding. So to hear that how Baby Zahra eventually passed away was quite sad, but I almost feel like she was almost like a little angel sent for a short period of time to be a blessing and sort of connect people. And I remember the time when she was in the hospital, it did draw family members and friends to Shani that she may have had lost a bit of contact with. And it made just people just sort of appreciate life can be short. Like, she was only on earth for 6 months to a year, with that. So yeah, so that's what the rest of the money is going to be going to. And that's just to say thank you. This is the summary. If you haven't watched the other videos, please do share it if you can. If you don't, that's fine. All the videos that I've put on YouTube are just my memory log, because I have the mentality of moving on. Target, achieve, next step. And it basically means that I've just moved through the motions. I don't necessarily have a lot of time to sit down and absorb and evaluate, because life is fast. My life is fast paced and things keep on happening. So the videos are just my way of remembering and capturing and sharing with family who are, or friends who are interested in what I've been doing. So take care, guys. Bye.